What is up, y'all? Ready to go make a ride? It is late afternoon Monday. Got a VW going by that's got the pops and bangs. Snapped and Sparkles tune. Alright. It's been pretty nice out and I haven't ridden in a little while. Haven't done a video update in a while. Alright, what am I forgetting? Got my little duck. Everything looks good. Full battery. Alright. Alright, so there's a little bit of moisture on the road still from the rains last night, but not from down in Africa, down in Appalachia. There's still this oil streak here that's been there for like, I don't know, that last video I made that was about the oil thing, what was that, a couple weeks ago? So you see how this, uh-oh, I got a loose mirror situation there. I have to tighten that up. But yeah, you see how this oil thing can just sort of linger, even though it's not a traction issue now. It's been there forever, but the darkness is still there. The darkness, and it can just kind of be more of a mental thing. So, what's been going on? Nice. Reminds me of my buddy Kyle's car. So yeah, it's late Monday, pretty quiet. This group of touring bikes had just pulled out from across the street that I'm about to catch up to, so I may end up following them across. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this will be a leisurely ride, y'all. Run back might be a little more exciting, so I'm going to talk about some things that are going on in our lives on this cruise across towards the overlook. This bike, the left lever is the rear brake. It's kind of like a scooter, and man, that corner right there, I always see so much action. I wish people would, I don't know, get the hang of it. It's not a hard turn, but I think it just catches people out because they don't realize that it goes on for as long as it does. That turn back there that I was just looking at, the left-hander, there's a lot of like debris in the ditch and black marks on the road and scrape marks where they've run off the road and all that, cars and bikes. It's a pretty popular exit. But yeah, pretty excited. We're staying somewhat busy, but not that busy, so it's been kind of nice. The business with the photography out here is doing good, as is the typical this time of year. It's a pretty popular time of year for groups and stuff to try to sort of get out early in the year and beat the crowd, but you know, I've said it over and over, it just ends up becoming the crowd. And then middle of summer tends to be a little bit slower, so in another month or so, July and August, it'll typically slow down a little bit and be kind of balmy, warm, hot days, but it's still kind of chilly. Unusual for this time of year around here. We're still seeing temperatures in the low 50s to even in the high 40s at night there a few days ago. Make sure my light's on. Poor guy. You see, he looks like he's having problems with his camera there. This is our new guy, Dan.
What are you doing?
Is everything okay?
Yep.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Wrapping it all up.
Good deal. I'm gonna make a run and play a little bit.
Okay, go ahead, bud.
I know you're gonna. You got the drives to get home. There, big old pothole right here on the right. Ugh. This is our Kyle's Corner here. The memorial on the left. Again, working on repetition, memorization, video series, NSX turn, and so on and so on. So yeah, the things have been pretty, pretty steady for us. We've still got good free time. I'm at a position, so grateful, so thankful that I'm at a position where I can just sort of manage the workload by turning away some opportunities. I don't want to get into just full-on constant responsibilities, or I don't know, it gets heavier than responsibilities. That's not even a heavy enough word for what it becomes sometimes if you push too hard. So I really relish my free time, my downtime, my ability to just get out and do stuff like this and not be tied down and committed to running around doing 15 different jobs every week. Because we do freelance stuff, with the other video side of the business. The Powerhead Productions is kind of what we're calling it, trying to sort of separate ourselves from the roadside photography reputation that the Killboy brand has, and give the video production service its own separate identity. So we're using Powerhead Productions for that, and we've been kind of like what I did when I started this, just sort of building up our capabilities, my capabilities. It's an hour now with a few more people helping run things, and Lori being a part of it, but getting nice, video equipment, spending the funds where we can, when we can, on getting some cool gear and things that it's hard to find around this part of the country and offer what we do to individuals and to companies that you would normally have to go to larger cities and other parts of the country to be able to find those services. There's definitely a niche or a vacuum for that type of thing in this area that I hope that we are able to capitalize on, kind of like I did with the photography thing. So like last week, or week before last, I finally ordered upgraded drone to the I've been using the Air 2S. I had a Mavic, I had the Mavic 1 and the Mavic 2 Platinum the Mavic 2 Platinum I left laying on a rock wall at the end of the day after doing a video shoot for KTM Motorcycles and 10 Cycles, the dealership in Asheville, North Carolina, I think. And yeah, end of the day I left the stupid thing laying on a rock wall with the controller, with the nice big smart controller with the screen built in. It was like $1,200 alone, just the controller, and had my information and everything on it, and never went back, like didn't realize I'd left it there, of course. And Lori ran back and tried to find it a few hours later and it was gone. So anyway, so after I lost that one, the Mavic 2 had been out for a while, and I felt like the Mavic 3 was going to be coming out pretty soon. I didn't want to buy another Mavic 2, and so to sort of get by at the time, I bought the DJI Air 2S. So a lot of people are asking me, you know, what am I using, or what's a good drone to get, and there's no easy answer for that. It depends on what your budget is and all that. But the Air 2S served me really well. I've been using that thing for like a couple years now, 3 years. It took them forever to come out with the Mavic 3. But the Air 2S has a 1-inch sensor. It's a little bit smaller than the Mavic series. It's a really good bargain for the buck. It's like it's right at $1,000 now, but you can catch it. Sometimes they mark it down to like 900 or something, or 800 even, I think. But it's been really good. But I was kind of holding out for the next Inspire. So the DJI Inspire is the big boy drone for actual Hollywood cinema work. And come on, fella, ease it on over. And I've got the Inspire 2, and there had been leaks that the Inspire 3 was finally getting ready to come out after, gosh, that Inspire 2 has been like 6-8 years it's been around. And I was waiting on the Inspire 3 to come out and see how much that was going to be, and they released the Mavic 3. And if those of you that aren't into all this, I apologize, but some of you are curious. So whew, I don't know if I guess it's that truck. It must be diesel. It smelled like kerosene right there before I came up on him. And they finally announced the Inspire 3, and it is badass. I mean, really, really impressive drone. But you can only buy it as a big, complete kit, which is kind of what you end up buying anyway. I mean, I kind of get it. And it's totally worth what they're asking. I ain't saying it isn't, but it's just not my budget. So it's $16,000. It comes with like 8 sets of batteries and one massive controller. The second controller is extra, a couple $1,000. But lots of extras, and you still have to buy the lens or lenses for the camera that it comes with. So you're in for like 20 grand by the time you really get the thing. And in this part of the country, again, getting back to sort of the services that we offer, I don't think it's going to pay for itself anytime soon. If I end up getting a gig with some Hollywood production and they cover, I don't know, half the cost of that, then I would consider it. But as it stands right now, we're just not making enough to cover that cost. So when they announced that, I was like, well, I'll get the Mavic 3 then. And so the Mavic 3 had been announced. It was actually really perfect timing that the way that they did that. They announced the Mavic 3, and then the Mavic 3 Classic, which was like a cut down version, and it was a pretty good deal. And then they announced this Mavic 3 Pro, which comes with 3 cameras. It's the first drone that has a triple camera setup. I think the original Mavic 3, regular, standard, whatever, was the first one with 2 cameras on it. It came with a 7x and then a regular 1x. But this new Mavic 3 Pro comes with one in between there. It's got a 3x camera on it. So that's optical, which is, you know, that's a big deal. Basically, it means that you're zooming in on the picture, but you're not doing it digitally where you're losing data. It's actual lens zoom, and then it'll also digitally zoom beyond those. So it allows me to basically get the type of shot that I was keeping the Inspire 2 with, like a zoomy lens. I can get these real cool cinematic shots that just don't look like they came from a drone. There's a weird thing that happens when you zoom in with a camera. It creates this real pleasing depth of field, and people in the photo industry and the video industry understand it, but people outside of those industries don't really know why. But they can see some footage shot from that type of camera system with that extra zoom, and it's not something you can really achieve with digital manipulation. It has to be done with lensing. The zoom has to be done with the lenses, so that allows me to accomplish, I mean, I know you got a trailer behind your truck, but you could still ease on over there to the white line. You guys, when you're out here and you're struggling maybe with oncoming lane discipline, let's say, try to focus on the white line. It seems so obvious to say it, and some of you are probably like, well, duh, but you'd be surprised how many people don't think about that. And then I say that and they're like, that really helped a lot, because I've had people I was struggling, especially in cars, but even on bikes, and it's like, this is mile marker 6, and I know it's not what they teach you in traditional race school. There's something painted on the road there, side by side. But yeah, try to ease over to the white line. It stays pretty clean. I know I've had some people leave feedback on like videos, oh, it's really dangerous to be driving on the white line like that where all the marbles are. There's not really marbles on this road because everybody has sticky tires and they pretty much drive, I'd say 95% drive pretty hard to the white line, and most locals and regulars know how to drive and they keep it pretty clean as a result. But there's the occasional new person and tourist that's all over the road that don't get it, why it's a problem. If everybody does what you do, it will not end well. It'll be very dangerous. And if everybody just stays in your lane, it's totally safe. Everybody can have their fun without dodging oncoming traffic. So focus on the white line a little bit, especially on these left-handers where you tend to want to go where you're looking, which, you know, makes sense. I get it. But it'll help you sort of stay over to the white. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about the new drone added to the equipment list. We have two actual car rigs now with stabilizing arms. The original one we got was kind of an entry-level rig, hydraulic arm system called the Tilta Hydra, and then I tried it and it worked okay, but I was having a problem with, whenever I used it on curvy roads, it would really struggle with the lateral forces and the longitudinal forces. It could handle bouncing. It had a hydraulic damper for up and down movement, but it didn't have any hydraulics for the left and right and the forward and the backward. So I started eyeballing this other arm by a company called MovMax, M-O-V-M-A-X, and they've got an arm called the N, as in Nancy, 2 Mini. They've got an N2 regular size, but the N2 Mini was the one I was eyeballing, and it was kind of pricey, but they put it on sale over Thanksgiving holidays last year, like November, at like half price. So luckily it was in the budget and it was okay. We jumped on that and got it, and then we were going to sell the first one, but Lori was like, if we go on some kind of a shoot where we're doing off-road stuff or something a little bit risky, I'd rather have the lesser arm there for that type of thing, just so we don't mess up the good arm, because we're using those, we're booking shoots and things with them. We have a schedule out through the rest of the year where we shoot for certain organizations like RS Experience, Car Rally, and stuff like that. So we can't really risk losing or breaking that key piece of equipment. So we kept the old one, and we can technically have two of those things mounted up on the vehicle, like one facing forwards, one facing backwards. But of course, single operator, camera operator, and car driver doesn't really make that feasible to control those remotely, but it makes for a neat picture. And sort of demonstration display of what all we can do, I guess you could say, what all's possible. But yeah, I'll try to post up some footage from the Mavic 3 Pro drone where I've been playing around with it, and show some examples of what it can do that no other drone can do. Yeah, there's no other drone that has that much real range, other than maybe like one of those eight rotor huge drones that cost like 20 grand and carries a full-size camera with a full zoom lens on it, to be able to go from the wide angle that it can do to the 28 times digital crop on the zoom lens is a massive range of zoom, and it's freaky. It's really government surveillance level. Whoa, those black marks are new. It goes straight across the road. They stopped right there. You can see the buildup of debris, but if anything had been coming, just plowed right into them. I'm always a little bit leery about going into that turn from the other direction too hard because of that reason. See people blow it a little too often, and I wrecked there myself. It's one of the first places I wrecked, and I went down trying to make it and slid across the road and would have done the same thing. So it's not a matter of, you know, be like me and be better. It's just a matter of recognizing the realities of some of these turns, that those are the places where everybody struggles and tends to have more problems. But yeah, getting back to the Mavic 3 drone thing, finishing up that thought, but yeah, it's crazy zoom capability. It's like government spy satellite surveillance level footage or camera capabilities, and I can be so far away with it that you'll never, if you're not really looking for it, you'd never know it was there. You can't hear it, you can barely see it, and from like 400 feet away I can still, you know, zoom in tight enough to be able to tell what somebody's doing. All right, pull into my little blocking the gate thing here. Alright, so I have used up 1 bar. So that's the difference that it makes between how you drive, because if I drive hard all the way here, I'll use up half that battery. Alright, be back with the run across shortly. Let's make our return run back. Local parking here, bump on pavement transition. Beginning of the triple apex here. Left, we got 1, and then 2, and then a sharp number 3. Kind of go easy here and see if this guy wants to follow my lines. Just hold him back a little bit. It looks like some fresh black marks from my car right there that I lost control. And he's holding back a little bit. I'll cruise on. We're coming over our blind crest here, a nasty pull off on the right. So always be careful if you see somebody in that pull off on the right. This is also radar straight where it's easy to get a ticket. The police like to sit right there. So just watch yourself. I don't want to see anybody suffer any undue hardship. Coming up on guardrail. Pretty tight little turn here. It's not very long duration, it's pretty short, so it doesn't amount to like a 180 or anything like that. Picnic table. It's kind of opens up this turn. It's hard to stay off the double yellow on that one. A lot of people tend to kind of end up riding up on the inside. Now into 2 square. Just a little right left and then a space and then another right left, very similar, but it's going to be a rough pavement situation on this side of the road right here, where there was a truck that overturned and they tore up the road getting it out. Now out of 2 square and on into little easy section here, and then scenic turn into mud turn. So here's scenic turn. It's a little bit rough. You don't want to take this one too hard. Pavement's a little bumpy there, especially on a motorcycle. And then this one is hard to stay off the center line again. Not as tight as it looks. Now that was mud turn. Now we're going down into cemetery turn. It's pretty tight. Pretty long duration, long radius. Rough road on the right. A little easy left, and then a real easy sort of zigzag S's here. And then a straight down into what we call horseshoe. Big pull off on the right. Horseshoe turns pretty sharp, medium hard, rough pavement on the exit. We're coming up on mile marker 6 and what we call spectator alley. A lot of people are starting to hang out here on the right and spectate. A lot of black marks there where people have been showing off. Little medium tight right, and then this rhythm section here where it just sort of goes like left and right, left to right, left to right, like military. So the rhythm section into what we call Jedi's Fall right here. Our friend Gap Jedi went down there. And then out into power lines. Sort of a double apex, not really, but kinda. And then this little medium turn here is pretty rough. There's no real perfect line through there. For me, maybe somebody else has got it figured out better than me. And then this double apex opens. So the second apex is a little bit easier than the first entry apex. And then this hard left that people blow coming the other way. So be careful right here, coming this direction. People blow it and it'll hit you head on. Now we're on the plateau. And we will start the downhill run to Parsons. So this little easy left. And then you got this view off to the right here where you can see the road. Sometimes when there's not so many trees. And now we start our 3 double apexes. Double apex right, turn in early, run out wide, come back in, and then sort of a long medium left, and then the double apex tightens up hard. This one a lot of people blow. And now we got another left that's long and rolls off camber here, so be careful. It effectively tightens up even though the radius doesn't change. Then we got a second apex that's a little bit more open, and then the final double apex, which isn't really a double apex, but you kind of treat it that way. And we come out into this straight, you got a dip on the right, and another dip on the right. Canadian license plates on the cruiser, and this is a decreasing radius turn here. It tightens up at the exit, and then now we're going into this hard right-hander. I consider this to be the tightest turn on the Dragon. And now we got the downhill wavy section. He's wanting me to go around. Thank you. We've got this hard left right. It's not really hard, but because you're downhill it seems harder, so we're just going to label it as a hard turn because people blow it. They don't account for the downhill aspect of it. So even though it's not a tight radius, because it's downhill, you kind of have to treat it like it is. And another pretty hard medium hard left, and then into this bowl turn here, this right-hander that tightens a little bit on the exit and leads you into Parsons Straight. So this is the straightaway going down to Parsons Branch. Big pull off on the right, big enough for 2 semis. Dip on the right, another dip on the right. Stay out. Can be a little bit dirty, especially on the exit of the turn here, where cars come out of that gravel road and track gravel dust out onto the road. So the exit of that turn right back there can be a little sketchy. Easy left. I think I met that 4x4, that side by side, in about the same place on the run out. So easy S's, kind of fun, feels like a dance. And then we go into a hard left. Pavement's a little rough right there. Now we're going into catch-all, which is not a difficult turn going this direction, but from the other direction people can blow it and come across the road. So keep your head on a swivel there, stay frosty, as they say. And then we got the 2 easy S's. Trying not to use the word fast. Easy right left, a little bit of a straight, and another easy right, and then to a sort of an easy medium left. It a little bit tightens, so you might have to let up a little bit there. And then we got a medium right. We're coming up on mile marker 3 and gravity cavity. But first we do picnic table, which will be this big paved sort of parking area on the right. And we got this medium right, mile marker 3, gravity cavity, coming up in 3, 2, 1 now. Stay to the right on the entrance for best results. And now the super late apex rolls off camber right-hander here. So stay out late, turn in late, come up, hit the apex at the exit, and you'll come out a lot better off than if you try anything else. Rock be gone into, I don't know, we don't really have a name for this section. Just a little fun zigzag, little wheelie hill right there. And then we're going into Bristol here. So this is like the high bank Bristol turn. Then we got this double apex that has a rough exit. So be careful, pick your line right here. Leave yourself some wiggle room to shoot between those patches. And now we're going uphill, another little wheelie spot, rough pavement right here. And we're on Sunset, which is a little bit tricky exit. It like rolls off camber and it's kind of rough, so careful. Another little wheelie spot right here. And I don't know, don't really have a name for this one. Section here. Kamal's crash. Sorry, Kamal, I love you. And then this little mile marker 2 coming up here, this long left-hander seemingly. There's a lot of dark fluid on the road back there. And then there's sort of a double apex or a rough exit, second apex right here. I like to stay out a little bit to the left on that one. And then we got another little double apex here, but it opens and leads into the straight down into NSX turn. Big pull off on the right. Fun little drifty spot with the cars. Cool spectating spot with always a lot of shade. Then we start uphill, a little bit of rough pavement, but it's easy to miss it. And we're going uphill to Kyle's Corner. What's up, Kyle? Woo-woo! Alright, a little bit of rough pavement right here. Dodge the sign. Top of stone wall. A little bit of rough pavement on the exit there. Mile marker 1.5, and then here's stone wall. Pull off. Real bad pavement there. Stay to the right. There's a dip on the right there. And now we're going to dip turn number 2 of 3. Stone wall being 1 of 3. Now we come down here. We call this one Jackson Hole, but that's a pretty small subset of people call it that. Just basically me and a couple of photographers. And now we go into the final dip turn. I like to stay a little to the right because of that broken pavement, and it helps you through it, so it doesn't need to be apex real hard. And now we come up on mini straight, which isn't really a straight, but it's not a sharp enough bend to really worry about, so don't over slow for that one. Get yourself in trouble. And now we've got a hard right left. It's a little bit rough on the right there, and then this leads into local straight, and there's a couple of bad patches of pavement on the right, so choose your lines there. If you're in a car, it's really difficult to brake right here without beating up the suspension in the wheels. And then this is pretty much an easy right, but it looks tighter than it is as you're approaching it. Now we go into crud corner, the final tricky turn. This is a decreasing radius, so it starts off fast. You can go in kind of hard, turn in early, and then run out, and then do a late apex. But there's a bunch of broken pavement on the right there, so used to be you could kind of cut a tight apex there, but now with all that busted pavement, it's a little bit trickier. If you're watching this in years ahead, that might not be an issue. They're supposed to be repaving it next year. All right, we're almost to the state line. Couple more turns here, a nice little dip turn. That's kind of fun. Then you come up over a little hill and across the line. So now we're less than a mile from the stores, the Tail of the Dragon and Killboy store, Bill's Got Motorcycle Resort. So cool your brakes as you go down this hill, which is not that easy to do, but if you're in something that has a brake heating issue, try to use lower gears, downshift, and let the engine do the braking. It also helps cool your engine, believe it or not, especially if it's a turbo. It's pumping air through the turbo system, and on deceleration it's just a big air pump, and it helps cool the engine, cool the turbos if you're just decelerating down a hill like this. So it's not a bad thing to let the engine sort of help slow the car down. It's using compression to do it, not friction. We come around the final bend there, and you know, watch out for people here walking across the road, all that type of fun stuff. I'm down to about half of a charge. She's got both gates down, so I'm going to go up here. Whoa. Hey, are you open? You got t-shirts? You got stickers? Okay. Alright, so there you have it, folks. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Join club129.com if you haven't already. We post up a lot of cool stuff there and talk about things that aren't as public. And until next time, bye. Bye.